Let's go over the wider picture at this point of time. How does this actually spell out for the polity of the country and the economy of the country? Manoj Joshi now joins us for more on that. Manoj, what I would like to know from you first and foremost is that there were a lot of people who said that Sonia Gandhi is a very cautious person. Once Mamata Banerjee withdraws, she will become even more cautious and keep with her leftist tendencies, keep with her public tendencies rather than actually go push for reforms. Has that happened, or perhaps she has been convinced if you do not reform right now, you have nothing to take to the people come election time?
I think so. I think that's what's happened, in the sense the Congress party is virtually with its back to the wall. And if you've seen from 2010 down to the coal gate, meaning we've had 2.5 years of bombardment on the corruption issue. On top of that, you've had the failure of the Congress party to perform well in the UP elections. Of course, they didn't do well in the state assembly elections in Punjab, which they ought to have won. They fared badly out there. And then, of course, UP was a total disaster because they had expected that Rahul Gandhi's charm will work there. So politically, they were not going anywhere. And on top of that, this whole attack on the corruption issue was coming on them. And they found themselves hamstrung by their allies because they could not even undertake policy measures with which to show that, well, you know, we are still functioning, we're a functioning government, etc. So finally, with their backs to the wall, they've been compelled to become a truly functioning government. And that's what we are witnessing today. I think it's really a matter of compulsion rather than anything else.
Okay, Manoj, just hang in there for a second, because there is, of course, a whole lot more angles and shades really to this story. Now, the government is planning actually more big ticket reforms as a direct reply to the stinging opposition. But the question really is, are its own allies on the same page? UP has already lost to the TMC, of course, over part one of its reforms, who call them anti-people. It's perhaps to avoid further such casualties and to build a pro-people image that UP is now thinking of certain Aam Aadmi schemes as well. Now, that is what we are picking up, that there might be some hardcore reforms in terms of taking away more subsidies, but some schemes also to really have a brand building exercise towards 2014 as the National Health Mission, computerize the PDS system, FDI in pension and insurance sector, and the Rajiv Gandhi Equity Savings Scheme. Now, with the TMC roadblock almost out of the way, the government is planning its second wave of reforms. Now, here is what we are picking at this point of time. We talked about those public reforms, but the government also has been unfazed by the massive protests and strikes across the country. The UP is ready with another reforms blitz. As headlines today, we'll get you more details of this. Sources have told headlines today that the cabinet is all set to consider massive reforms in the power and the food sectors, very sensitive sectors. The price of PDS sugar is expected to increase from 13 rupees a kg to 19.50 rupees a kg. That's a 50% increase after the prices remain unchanged for a decade. The biggest blow could be your electricity bill. Now, we've accessed details of a cabinet note, and it suggests that the government is planning a large-scale power sector reform, including annual increments in the power tariff that you pay from April 2013. Sources also telling us that the second set of mega reforms are meant as an answer to the belligerent opposition that the government has faced on its reform agenda to point. And senior members of the government also are feeling that once you've got this traction as far as reforms are concerned, you shouldn't lose out, because for a long period of time the Congress has been sitting around and not doing a lot. So clearly the government is trying to make amends as far as the lost time is concerned. Now, there is obviously a profit and loss here, and that's where I'd like to bring in Manoj also. Manoj, you know, you have some public measures that you take, your PDS, you computerize it, Rajiv Gandhi Equity Scheme, that's all fine. But to balance out the economy and to bring in fiscal discipline, you will have to then take those hard measures, whether be it power, whether be it reducing PDS price of sugar. How can it balance out in the next 6 months? I understand that the government has a 6-month window. Can they achieve so much within such a short span of time?
See, I don't think we can balance anything out in 6 months. You see, the thing is that what you're really looking for, you have the traditional Congress policy of offering subsidies. You have MNREGA, or you have now the Health Mission, and you have various kinds of SOPs and subsidies which the Congress loves to give. On the other hand, what you really require is an economy that is bouncing, an economy that is flourishing, which is creating jobs in a large scale right through, and people are feeling that they have a little bit more money in their pocket. Now, that is something which you can't do in 6 months, and the other reason why you can't do it in 6 months is that, of course, the global climate is also somewhat, the global economic climate is not very good. But the point is, you can provide a sense of movement, a sense of achievement, which meets up to the aspirational requirements of the people. Because what the people don't want handouts. The people are looking, they're looking for a good education, they're hoping for a good job, they want to settle down in a good job and do productive work out there. So that is really what, if the Congress party can signal that they are trying to meet that aspiration, I think they will get the support of the people, but not merely by subsidy.